Hello there, everyone. This is At the Movies with Matt and Ryan. I'm Matt, obviously. I'm here with Ryan.
I'm Ryan. We have a very special podcast today.
Yeah, this is kind of more akin to our radio shows because it's multiple movies being reviewed at once. We have three movies on the docket today with Transformers: The Last Night, Cars 3, and All Eyes on Me. So it should,
Yeah, it'd be
a,
more like the radio than anything.
yeah, and I'll be editing it. I'll be adding some, some little trinkets, some trailers, some, pictures,
Yeah.
some things of that assortment. But we're gonna start with our first film, which is Transformers: The Last Night, which is the fifth film in the Transformers series. Funny enough, I think in a few days, this will mark the 10th year anniversary for the franchise, which is, I don't know,
Yeah.
that might make you feel old, depending who's listening. But yeah, this is the latest in the franchise. We still have Michael Bay behind the camera directing. In this film, it kind of leads off where Age of Extinction left off. I mean, honestly, who gives a shit about the story? But still, humans
Yeah.
and Transformers are at war. Optimus Prime is gone. The key to saving our future lies buried in the secrets of the past, in the hidden history of Transformers on Earth. Okay.
No, okay, the synopsis is it's 2 hours of cars fucking around and then the last half hour of humans trying to save the world with these cars. That's what it is.
To give some context into my opinion, I've seen all of the Transformer movies and I liked the first one. The first one was fun for what it was. I mean, it definitely wasn't a perfect movie, but it was
Yeah.
entertaining as a blockbuster. But 2 through 4 have been pretty lousy. With 4, I think being watchable, but still kind of bad. This movie really fucking one ups its competition at being just complete garbage. I was pretty shocked at just how bad this movie was. I was expecting it to be bad, but not this level of just crapitude. It was just.
Well, you know, you pointed out the aspect
Oh yeah,
ratio. I
yeah. Let me
wrote it.
let me get into that first. Michael
Yeah,
Bay
get
is
to
a is a fucking hack and a dipshit for not understanding how to make a film and release it. So this movie was filmed mostly with IMAX cameras, which is cool because most movies it's usually like 40 to 50% is filmed in IMAX cameras and the rest is kind of just standard. So yeah, that's cool. I'm fine with that. Awesome. But Paramount made a special request for the movie to be screened in regular theaters in a certain way, and that certain way is fucking retarded. The
yeah.
movie screen, we saw this at a pretty nice theater, and usually the screen is like it's the whole size of the wall, like and I love
Yeah.
that because you really it's the theater experience. You're engrossed in it, all the sounds, you see you're involved. That's why it's a good theater experience. Here, it was like your fucking laptop screen. It was like a box, and you could see all the dead space of the wall that wasn't used by the screen. Like it was. I was like, I hope they're gonna move that, and they never did. It never fucking changed. It was always just this fucking box, and
Yeah.
that's just the start of it. And then the film when filming with IMAX cameras, it's a different aspect ratio than with standard cameras. But the film would change aspect ratios within scenes.
Yeah.
Like within like it's one thing if one scene has an aspect ratio like this and then another one has a wide aspect ratio. But within the fucking scene, the screen would move up and down like fucking crazy. It'd do it like 5, 6 times a scene, and it was an assault on the senses. Like it's just it
Yeah.
it took me like an hour to just adjust to it and not be like I honestly had a fucking headache. I wanted to leave. I was like, this is shocking. Like how is a movie this ineptly like filmed? Because it would be like, oh, so it covered the whole screen and then it would cover like 4/5 of the screen and then it would cover like 2/3 of the screen. Like it'd keep moving throughout the scene, and it's
Yeah.
just it. it gives you nothing to focus on. And it's just fucking stupid. How do you make a movie that you can only really appreciate in one certain format? Like that, it's just so dumb. Like Michael Bay deserves to get slapped on the fucking wrist for just being a moron.
Yeah, I didn't notice it until you pointed it out to me because I don't pay attention to that as much. But when you did point it out, it did get a little distracting because that's what I was paying attention to. Every time every time there was a cut, it would like change the width and everything would change, and it'd be really distracting. I agree, and that's not even like, and we're not even getting into the actual movie too. Like that's just like part of it.
It took me a good 45 minutes to stop fucking sighing every 2 minutes because it was just so like it was just like insulting to me because the lack of cohesion like as scenes have because of it it's just so apparent. Like it's just like it's just so sloppy, and I can't believe.
I mean, it's obviously not good at all, but like I don't know. Like Michael Bay was trying to do something here. Is it a little pretentious that he was trying to do something good, but it didn't turn out good?
I don't think it's being pretentious at all. It's being incompetent. It's not realizing, hey, this is how most people are going to see your movie. They're not going to see it in IMAX. IMAX typically makes up, I think, around 10 to 15% of a movie's total box office income. So you're making a movie for 15% of the people who are going to see it in a fucking theater. It's so stupid. Like it was just dumb. Like there was no thought process behind it, and it was just stupid, and it made the experience an eyesore. And that's only part of why this movie fucking sucks. Like that, I just wanted to highlight that off the top to say, like, usually movies like this, you'll be like, if you want to check it out, you go at least see it in the theater for the effects, the blockbuster. I say wait for the home video no matter what, because unless you want to pay $20 a ticket to see an IMAX, it is not worth seeing in the theater. It is not at all worth it.
No, because like you said, the screen isn't even fully used.
It was like my laptop screen.
We paid like $8. Use the full screen.
Oh, we paid $6, but who's counting?
Yeah, I know, but like normally, well, even it's more than that sometimes. But yeah, people should get the full experience.
Yeah, this movie was really fucking terrible. But part of me wishes that I feel like if that wasn't such a giant issue, I would have enjoyed this slightly more because this story is just fucking bonkers. They just the past couple ones, like the story is kind of boring, but it's competent. This movie, it's just like, all right, the Transformers have been around since the King Arthur days, and they helped, like, they showed like all the historic figures they've helped, and it's like Harriet Tubman and like Abe Lincoln, and then like they have a scene where they're infiltrating like a Nazi base. Like it's like, are you fucking kidding? Like it just gets so stupid.
It was, but at the same time, it was a very conventional blockbuster. Like, I don't know, nothing new was brought to the table.
Yeah, but there was that part, just how off the fucking board the story gets is amusing at points. I feel like that's the only redeeming quality of the movie. And I think the action, even though it's hard to really see and appreciate, is well staged, and I think Bay definitely knows how to. He blows things up, and his use of slow-mo is always good and stuff like that, but this movie is a slog to get through it. I mean, aside from some funny parts involving the story machinations, this movie's 2.5 hours of just nothing that interesting happening.
Well, it's just like this movie. I mean, you could have cut an hour out of it, and it still would have just been cars being like freaking stupid and fucking around. Like that's what this whole movie was. It just wasted time, and it was like. I felt so pissed walking out of the theater that it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We saw this movie at like 12:15, and it's like I wasted 3 hours of my life watching cars be idiots. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
These movies
wasn't annoying.
Yeah, these movies really like to try to breathe with the characters, which is so bizarre to me because these characters are never interesting. Mark Wahlberg gives one of his worst performances. It's The Happening level bad, and I don't completely blame him. Oh, I do for wanting to be in these movies because he's selling out. But like the script's terrible. The line. There's a lot of grown like attempts at jokes.
That's a bitchin' car. That stood out to me.
You're not getting any whoopee Kate, or there's just like, yeah. Oh my God. Speaking of, poor Anthony Hopkins is in one of the most degrading performances since Al Pacino and Jack and Jill. Man, they make him say some of the dumbest shit there possible, and it.
That's a bitchin' car.
Yeah, like they make Anthony Hopkins into this, just like comedic relief. Like, it's just so weird. Like it's like you're turning Hannibal Lecter into this joke of a character, and it's so ugh.
Does Michael Bay understand like modern day lingo? I don't think he does.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like the amount of times "bro" was used was kind of like cringeworthy. Like it was corny as fuck. Like I couldn't. Oh my gosh. There was like a bro at the end of each like a sentence, like every other scene. I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah,
so
the dynamics between the characters are also forced. I mean, we have I forget. Let me find the girl. Isabella Moner plays this little girl who's in the movie for like 2 minutes. Yeah. I don't know. It's just stupid. And then
popping out of nowhere.
Yeah, we have Laura Haddock is pretty much the new Megan Fox type. You know, you could see where that's going a mile away. It's just
I hate. Oh my! That's my problem with movies. Is these? There's always this man and a woman, and they like can't stand each other at first. They just like talk like shit to each other the whole time. And then all of a sudden they start loving each other. It's the same dynamic every movie when that happens.
Yeah, it really it takes a leap for you. You can see where their dynamics going from a mile away, but it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, like there's no redeeming characters. No, I see what you're saying, but it really is no. There is no redeeming characters here. It's just. Like everything is so thinly drawn and so poorly conceived. It's such a letdown. Like I don't know. Like at least the first Transformers movie had like Shia LaBeouf is a good actor, and the story wasn't anything complex, but it was something simple that audiences could kind of relate to. It didn't try to be anything more than what it was. But this series suffers from the same problem as the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, where they take themselves way too fucking seriously. Like everyone gives a shit about this epic story of the fucking Decepticons versus the Autobots. Like no one cares.
Yeah.
Like, do you care? I wanted to punch everyone in the theater when we were trying to leave. There's this post-credit scene. I'm like, I just want to get out of here. What's up?
Yeah.
You're cutting out, Ryan. What's up?
What's up? No, I was just saying, yeah, that was obnoxious.
All right.
I was trying to leave. Are you still here?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, but we'll just get to ratings on this. What do you give it?
All right, I'll give it like a 3 out of 10.
Damn, that's generous.
How's that generous?
What's a 3 for?
I don't know, like, yeah, okay, besides the shitty aspect ratio, I mean, it was a bad story and it was very conventional, but like whatever. The action was kind of fun, and
I don't know. The ending, I just wanted the movie to end.
3 is not that good, Matt. Like
I don't know. It seems too high. I give it a 1.5. 1.5. All right. I hated this movie. I don't like. It wasn't even fun bad. Like Book of Henry was at least like a mute. Like it made me laugh and it kept me engaged because it's just like, where is this movie going? Like this movie there was nothing fun about it. So.
Some guy fell asleep. That was funny.
Yeah, I guess. All right, next movie, Cars 3, the third entry in the Cars franchise. The last one, Cars 2, is widely regarded as the worst Pixar movie of all time. I mean, yeah, but Cars 3 is definitely taking more of a standard approach. I'd say it's like a sports movie. Ryan, do you want to start with your thoughts?
On Cars 3.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have a little disagreement here. I thought the movie was fine, but I think there was an added element to it that didn't really need to be added, which was the whole aspect of like the feminist aspect at the end. And don't get me wrong, like I'm all for that, but 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 like let's leave that to other Pixar movies. Why is Cars trying to be this socially conscious movie? Like no one wants to go to Cars to see, this great message come out of the movie, And on top of that, Matt, like the whole feminist aspect of it wasn't even like, I don't know. I wouldn't even call it feminism because the only reason why the girl car raced was because Lightning McQueen.
No, hey, don't spoil. Hey.
Well, yeah, he didn't. He
don't
raced.
Spoil. Hey, stop. Why would you spoil? Hey, don't try to spoil movies. Hey, get some ethics. I'm gonna start because whatever you want to spoil movies and be a jerk, go ahead. But
I'm not being Matt. That's my review.
Yeah, but you can't spoil movies.
I'm not trying to spoil the movie.
Well, you're about to reveal a big plot point that wasn't known.
Still not known.
Yeah, it shouldn't be because I interrupted you. All right, Cars. I thought this movie was very good. I think the best Pixar movie since Toy Story 3, and here's why. This movie, in a lot of ways, I think John Lasseter and company, they did have a lot of respect when approaching this material, and it felt a lot like a sports movie in a very traditional sense. But I like that. I like the traditional approach to storytelling. And while the story isn't very simple, or is very simple, I should say, I think the movie does have something to say about mortality and nostalgia and all, kind of how those factors, how those come to play in our careers and our lives. I think Lightning's journey throughout the movie actually had a lot more heart and depth than I really expected from the trailers. And I think the movie also is a great tribute not only to, mentorship and stuff like that, but also Paul Newman, who's passed but had such a fantastic career. And I don't know, there was just a lot of sweet moments throughout. The emotion never felt heavy-handed. Nothing ever felt like it was like trying so hard to play the crowds, but everything felt organic and genuine. And I think the movie had tackled its subject matter with a lot of maturity. It wasn't trying to change the world or anything. I don't think the movie was that socially conscious. I mean, there's definitely some empowerment messages, but I don't think that just is feminist. I think that's just general. It's general empowerment for all people to embrace their true powers, stuff like that. I think that angle wasn't as strong as the rest of the movie, but I definitely like the journey this film takes Lightning McQueen, and I don't know, there's just a lot of touching, smart moments with the movie. I don't think the humor was quite on point, but I also give the movie credit for kind of putting the jokes to the side a bit and focusing more on I feel like this movie approached its story and characters kind of seriously, and I appreciate that in an animated movie because most of the time it's just throwing constant gags at the screen, seeing what kind of sticks.
I disagree with that. I think there's a lot of animated movies that are kind of going away from that nowadays.
I think even animated movies like Zootopia still throw a lot of jokes at the screen. This movie really didn't have a lot of jokes. Like,
no.
It really didn't. Like, especially
that makes it like I don't think throwing jokes though is a bad thing. Like, you still gotta appeal to the kids portion of the.
I think it did. My theater, I saw it on a Tuesday. And it was at full applause during the big final race. Another thing I'd like to say, the racing sequences and the animation both are very on point here.
Yeah.
But I think what's important is this movie has a story and emotional depth to really match the characters or the animation. I don't know. I connected to this movie. I think it's if you play sports and like sports, I feel like you'll connect to this movie too. There's definitely a lot. It relates to how sports are something more than sports. It's this kind of greater, lively, how it connects to our lives and stuff like that.
But man, what if they were human beings? Would this movie get as well? Would this movie be as well received?
I'd still like it. I don't give a fuck what people say. I still think it's very good. I mean, the story that's the overrated thing in Hollywood. Everything needs to be over or completely original and stuff like that. I love that this movie had a very late throwback approach to storytelling. It's about telling your story well and with good characters and stuff like that, and that's what this movie did. It was very well executed. So I don't if it was real people, it still would have been a very good movie.
Yeah.
And I think this movie connected to the Cars, the original movie, very well too. It felt like this felt like a more fluid sequel than I think a lot of other animated movies. Because
I don't remember Cars 2 as much.
Well, Cars 2, you could tell they kind of threw that out, like because Cars 2 was a giant failure, and they were like, let's just focus on calling back to Cars 1, and I like that. The two movies do feel very connected. And yeah, I just enjoyed the movie a lot. Like it was probably one of the biggest surprises of the summer for me so far.
Yeah, I mean it was cute. It was a good movie.
It was cute. Well, I don't know. I think it's more than that. I liked it better than like I said, it's my favorite Pixar movie since Toy Story 3, and I think I liked it better than most animated movies that have come out recently. Maybe not quite as much as Moana or Kubo, but close to being on that level, like a step down.
Wow, I'm surprised.
All right, I like just how mature the storytelling was. I appreciated it from an animated movie, and I appreciated that it wasn't it wasn't this obvious social conscious theme. It was more of this meditation on kind of you know
You don't think it was obvious?
I mean, it was, but it took a lot of time to kind of to simmer and meditate with its theme. Like it had a lot of depth to it. It wasn't like Zootopia where it was like, oh, the racial acceptance stuff like that. Like it was very obvious. What?
Zootopia did the same thing. Zootopia, I think.
Yeah, but Zootopia didn't have emotional core to it. I think this movie. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It teared up at points. I did. It was very effective. Like
I'm not saying I teared up in Zootopia, but
I don't think there's an emotional core to Zootopia. I think there's a socially conscious ideas behind it, but nothing to really. You don't really remember those characters as much.
I do.
Oh, what are their names?
The Fox.
The Fox? No. Okay. Thanks for playing.
But Cars, that's unfair because Cars is a franchise, so like everyone knows the Cars characters.
Yeah, but I wasn't emotionally connected to them in the first or second movie.
Like everyone knows Lightning McQueen. Like the reason why they made these movies, Matt, was for young kids to for that brand. Like that's what they made it for.
Okay, but like I said, I wasn't emotionally connected to those characters in the last few.
That wasn't the first.
Emotionally, whatever. We're pondering too much. Let's get to the ratings. So, what would you give it?
I'll give it a 7.
All right, we're not even that far apart. I give it a 7.5. You need to give it lower rating. Come on, you're not.
It was a 6. Okay, I originally had a 6. I was at a 6. I'll give it a
7. Yeah, I don't. Your review didn't sound like a 7. You seem very kind of passive about it.
Oh, wait, you were talking about it seemed like an 8.5. You're like, this is the best Pixar movie since Toy Story.
Well, let's go through it. Like Cars 2 sucked. Brave sucked. I didn't like Inside Out. Good Dinosaur is okay. Finding Dory was good, not great.
The Good Dinosaur's okay, but Inside Out sucked.
I didn't like Inside Out. I've mentioned this before. I'm not a fan of the movie. You didn't see Good Dinosaur, so I don't want to hear it.
I heard it was bad.
I thought it was alright. Alright. Moving on to our next movie, which Ryan on the show a couple of months ago said would be an 8 out of 10. All Eyez on Me.
I did not say that.
We can play the tape on our summer preview show. I listened back. You said this movie would be an 8 out of 10. So how about you start by describing this movie?
Okay, this movie follows the life of Tupac, and I mean and when I mean the life, I mean like everything that happened in his life, but in like very short scenes. it basically follows. I mean, there's like a brief, few scenes when he was a child. It just basically follows his adult life mostly, and his troubles that happen while in the rap game.
Yeah. First of all, I just want to take a minute to say I told you so. I told you so.
Gosh.
I told you so. I told you so. I knew from the fucking teaser trailer this movie would suck, and of course it did. Like I went in wanting to like it. I mean, Tupac is such a what?
It was mediocre.
It was really bad, Ryan. It was really bad. This movie,
funny.
what? You keep talking. It was funny. No, it wasn't. This movie doesn't even succeed at being the bare minimum of biopics, but it really doesn't try to be anything more than that either. Like the direction by Benny Boom, who does music videos, is so lackluster. I mean, it's just everything. It's so cliched. It feels like a TV movie, to be honest, at a lot of points. The editing is awful. The movie just transitions from whim to whim without much, real direction. And there's a lot of scenes that just don't really fit. The movie's way too long. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. Like, what?
It's really poorly edited, and I feel like he's very scatterbrained in this movie where, like, he doesn't know how to progress through time. So it seemed like as he was making this movie, he's like, oh shit, yeah, we gotta add that. So then they, like, went backwards, and then they went, it was just really scattered, and they never, like, progressed through time very well at all. Like, it was just all over the place.
There is zero depth to this movie. You really don't get much of understanding of what motivated Tupac to make the music he makes and his connection to his music, and even the process of him making the music. Like, the movie struck out on all of those core aspects. Like, biopics are about kind of learning, like getting inside the head of someone. But this is the whole time you're outside. You're just kind of going through his story in a very by the numbers approach, and that's just a shame. And it's really dull. Like, for a movie that's about someone as lively as Tupac to be so boring is just kind of a bummer. Like,
well, it's tough to make a movie like him because he is larger than life, and I think that's why it was so scattered because there was so much that they wanted to get at, but it just wasn't done effectively. And yeah, the music. I wish I knew why he made the music he did. Most of the time, we were just like, it was just him visiting like record companies and him signing deals. And it's like, okay, but how did he get to that point? Like, cause I mean, yeah, you could research and stuff, but it's cool to see it on the big screen, and just wasn't done effectively. Like, there was a lot of scenes too where they were trying to like be emotional, like with his mom and how the song "Dear Mama." But like, how did he make that song? Why did he make that song? It was just very, I don't know. It was not in depth at all for a movie that was over 2 hours.
Yeah, the movie is very, very simplistic. I mean, the performances are okay. The guy who plays Tupac, Demetrius Shipp Jr., holds his own.
Yeah.
The Michonne from Walking Dead is okay as Tupac's mom. Like, they're okay, but it's so dry. Like, I don't. The only scenes that really come to life are the concert scenes. Those have a good amount of staging and just the way the sound and all that encompasses in the theater experience are pretty memorable moments. But aside from that, it's just the rest of the film is just shockingly forgettable.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I feel like this person who created this movie is a huge fan of Tupac and his music, but just doesn't understand him.
The movie feels like hero worship too. Like, they don't like Tupac is not a perfect, like role model type person. He had a very, even through his, kind of flawed uprising, he did turn out to be someone who made some great music, but also made some very poor decisions. And the movie never highlights that or skimps around that. I mean, you could even say that one of the things, like when it involves him being accused for a sexual assault, is handled in a borderline insensitive manner. They turn the girl into like some villain. Did you notice in the courtroom scene when he gets sentenced, she's smiling? Like, I'm like, I fucking doubt that happened. I don't think this person's like vindictive at all.
If someone gets sexually assaulted, they're not happy at all. Like, no matter what. Oh, the doorbell is ringing. But no matter what, they're not happy at all. So, like, that was just weird. Yeah, and they had this like weird like I don't know like when he was they had him doing an interview and him talking about his life.
Oh yeah, I'm
And it
sick of
wasn't
seeing that shit in
interesting.
biopics. That's in every fucking biopic now. Let's do an interview. Like this is stupid. It's a stupid
That's
framing
it's
device.
very it's just very lazy, and it's like, all right, how are we gonna set this premise? Let's just do an interview. That's what it felt like to me. It was just very lazy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think the whole movie was lazy and cheap.
and it's sad because yeah, this you need to do this the right way, and it just wasn't done. I almost wish like Tupac was still alive because like he could probably be a little more hands on with this, but I mean even then it'd be tough. So
Mm.
I don't know.
I think both this movie and Transformers were not nearly as engrossing as Book of Henry. I'd rather watch Book of Henry more than both those movies because both these movies were just so dull. Like they were just hard to sit through, especially considering their length. Both were over 2 hours and 20 minutes, which is pretty rough. But do you want to get into ratings?
Yeah, I'll give it. I'm right around the same as Transformers, like 3.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll go with 2. I just
Yeah.
I really did not like this movie. I feel like both this and Transformers will definitely be on my worst of list come end of the year. I'd be
Yeah,
surprised if they were left off.
for sure.
Any other comments?
Any other? I need to see a good movie.
All right, yeah. So that's our reviews. We'll have. I'm sure we'll see Baby Driver and The House and The Beguiled, stuff like that over the next couple weeks. Spider-Man's coming up, so stuff to look forward to. But until then, thanks for listening and comment, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and have a good day.
See you guys.